Welcome back to Heart Key Creations. I am Heather and I'm going to do some hot process soap today. I have my oils melting in my crock pot at the moment, and there is safflower oil, beeswax, palm oil, castor oil, and shea butter. That's in there. And I'm going to use cherry almond as my scent, so I decided to use beer in my lye water today. It's only a 1 pound batch, so it's not a huge batch. I'm just kind of testing out this recipe because I just, I was looking up the properties of the safflower oil, and it's really nice, and I have a big bottle of it, so I was like, well, let me try and see what I can do. But it was going to give me a really soft bar, so I made sure to add some of the beeswax in there to counteract that. So we'll be back in a little bit to move on to the next step when all the oils are melted. Alright, so we're back and the oils have all heated up, and I'm going to put my gloves back on because now we're going to play with the lye. And I'm going to turn down my crock pot because, well, I kind of forgot to do that. I know that the lye is still warm, and I'm not too worried about putting it in there when it's at a funny temperature or anything else. They are very similar in temperatures. Also, I have no idea what I was going to say. So, we're just going to do this. So you can see that we are at a very thick trace. It is definitely time to just set the top on there and let it be. You're doing hot process soap if you're new to doing it, because I'm new to doing it and I don't walk away from it. Don't ever walk away from it. I have plenty of room in this pot, but if I walk away from it and don't come back and it heats up too much and too quickly before I come back, it can make a huge volcano soap mess all over the place, and we don't want that. Yeah, so we're just gonna let that sit there, and we'll be back when it does start to rise. Okay, we are back and we are moving. So this is exactly what you want, and I want a hot pad because that's hot. So we're gonna beat that down to the normal size again, mix it all together, and let that happen a few more times. That is what saponifies the oils and the lye together, that process, so that we can use the soap faster. Okay, so it's been like a half hour. Doesn't seem to be doing another volcano or anything. So I did turn the crock pot back on in case it was cooling down and not gonna do its thing. But it's just not doing anything else. It's been a good half hour, and yeah, so we're going to talk about a little about why you would use beer in soap. If anybody knows any other reasons why to use beer other than the ones that I'm going to mention, please feel free to comment them below. But, you use beer because it helps the lather. The hops in it help to moisturize your skin, and the acids in it actually help fight against acne. So it's weird, but true. So lather because of the sugars that are in it, and the hops helps to soften the skin. Brewer's yeast helps to act as an antibacterial agent and fight acne. And it just feels so nice on your skin. It's not, you know, if you clean up lager or something that's spilled on the floor, it's not sticky like that in a soap. It's just nice. It feels so nice. All right, I am going to add in my fragrance oil, and I do have some glycerin added to it to help loosen it back up. And my fragrance oil is the almond, the cherry almond. I mean, you can see that it's clearly hot. But for some reason, it just doesn't want to do anything else. So I'm gonna say that, you know, it was probably done. One time was all it needed. It's a small batch. Sometimes that happens, I guess. And that's that. It looks so nice. I'm not gonna put any colorants in it or anything. I figure with the cherry almond, this will just be a nice color for it. Yes. And it decided to thicken right back up on me, so I'm going to add a bit more glycerin. Just a little drizzle on the top. And if that doesn't work, then I have some sour cream in the refrigerator. I'll throw that in there. The lactic acids are good. I don't, for what I'm doing, fluid is not necessarily what I want, but I want less of a gloppy gloppy than what you would normally get. So I also want to put a little bit of salt, sea salt in here, because it is going to be a soft bar by itself. And the sea salt will help harden that up as it cures and keep it hard. It's definitely a good color for the cherry almond scent. I'm going to add another little dollop of sour cream. Alright, well sadly, my phone decided to die in the process of all of that. So I'm trying to set up my my iPad here to record for us. I don't know how well this is going to work or not, or if I'm going to be like completely out of the shot half the time or what. But I do know that I don't have much more time to play with that. Okay, I think we're good. So that last bit of sour cream definitely seemed to do the trick for me. Loosened this up to a workable consistency, at least. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really looking for fluid at this moment. I might play more with the glycerin and sour cream, or some sort of, you know, yogurt or something. I might play more with that kind of thing to get a fluid hot process soap going at some point, but not today. Today, I just want to be able to, you know, get this a little bit in here and do some loofah. I want to squeeze the loofah into the soap and hope. I want to play with the loofah. Now, I've only got 2 little loofahs, but I'm hoping that these come out decently, and I'll get more loofahs, and we'll try and do some loofah soaps, because I think that that's a brilliant idea. Loofahs are so wonderful for people with dry skin and itchy skin, and it just helps to keep the soap, or not keep the soap, but it helps to exfoliate your soap without anything really, really hard. You know, any of those, the seeds sometimes are really, really hard and hurt if you've got really sensitive skin. So I'm just going to do 2 of these with the loofahs, and then I'll kind of plop them into a mold. But I wanted to make sure that this was pliable enough to go into and around the loofah. And I did get these wet before I started this. So they've dried out a little bit now, but they're not dry. They're soft and pliable and ready to accept stiff. So and yeah, I'm just kind of playing with the loofah, playing with the mold, making sure that there is soap around some edges where I don't see any like squeezing up and out. I just want to make sure that there's soap all the way around it. So and we'll just throw a little bit on the top there. I do want the loofah to show through on this side. If it shows through on the other side, that's great, but I don't think it will. Now, these molds are actually heart molds, but it's not going to maintain a heart shape, clearly. I've got it way out of proportion here for that. Alright, so I've got those 2 set, and I'm just going to set them over here. And oh, now I have a problem because the mold that I'm going to use is actually holding up my camera. Oh boy. Okay, let's see. Alright, this is not the mold that I was going to use, but I will use it because I can. And it's not going to make much of a difference anyway. I absolutely love the smell of cherries and almonds. Really, it's just amazing. Almond, the smell of actual almond, true almond is amazing. They call it cherry almond, but that's the smell of almonds. When you get almond oil or almond extract, that is the smell. It smells like cherries. And it even has, well, it's not really, it doesn't taste like cherries, really, it doesn't, but it does smell like cherries for sure. I'm way off camera here with the molds, I'm sorry. There we go. I guess I should do less talking sometimes and more paying attention to the camera. But so this is not one that I would market as an all-natural soap because I did put the fragrance oil in there. Some people I think some people would market it still as, because supposedly the fragrance oils are natural, they're chemical free, but I don't know. I don't feel like I can really prove that, so I don't want to mislead anybody in any shape or form. Plus, when people are looking for all natural, they tend to really not think of something that has fragrance oil. They are probably usually looking for something that's more lightly scented or not scented at all, other than whatever the ingredients were that you put into the soap. So, you know, if you've used oatmeal, then maybe it'll smell like oatmeal. If you used honey, then honey. Coffee, coffee. But I think most people, that's what they're thinking of when they think of all natural soaps. They don't think of something that you added a fragrance oil to make it to make it scented that way. And I know that for a lot of hot process soaps, getting them to hold a natural scent of anything is difficult. Although I did make that banana milk and cocoa butter soap a few weeks ago, and it was hot processed. And I have to say that the cocoa butter actually is still pretty fragrant in it. I was surprised that it made it through, that the scent made it through the hot process and curing in general. I mean, it's only been a few weeks, so who knows? Maybe in 3 months' time it'll not be that way, but I guess we'll see. Okay, so that's my little half batch, pretty much, of cherry almond beer soap. And yep. And I think that because of the way that hot process soap works, it might actually stay perfectly formed like that if I let it be. I might try and find something to set in there to make sure it stays that shape, but I don't know. All right, we'll see you tomorrow with the cut. Okay, so we are back for the molding and cutting of this beer soap that I made. And so this is the loofah that has the little, it's actually a little heart, but the loofah is in here. So you can barely see the loofah, but it shows up, so this will be the side that you use, we'll start with. And I molded this one before I started. Yeah, it's cute, I think. I hope it works out nicely. And this is my little half batch of soap. Yep. It did stay nicely in shape. I did push it in every now and again while it was cooling. Well, before I put it in the freezer. I did put it in the freezer for a couple of hours. So this is actually only a couple of hours later from when we finished our little batch. So, and I'm not going to do any fancy cuts on it. I'm just going to do the flat, straight cut, and we're just do some 1-inch bars. So you can see that some of the soap actually was overcooked a little bit in here. That is what those chunks are. They're overcooked soap. But sometimes it just adds to the look of it. It doesn't do anything to the soap itself. It's just it's just cooked more than the other. So, yep. And again, almond scent is just amazing. And I forget that even though that beer is really dark, that it actually cures out a much lighter color. I'm gonna leave this end piece, I think, bigger. Yeah, it's just a pretty, yeah, maybe not. Well, actually, I think I'll just cut it in half so it'll be smaller than the other ones. But, I don't know. Maybe I'll use them as samples or something. Well, I will definitely be using one, that's for sure. One of these and one of the loofah ones. Well, that is for sure. So that's the end that I actually smushed in. The end that didn't have anything against it. So, I mean, that's not too shabby. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Any questions, comments, leave them below, and I will see you next time.